Hi everyone, good afternoon and welcome to today's New Energy Nexus Philippines event for the Philippine Startup Week 2021 with this year's theme Beyond Recovery, Filipino Startups Redefining Opportunities. So just a brief background about our company. We are an international organization and we started in California in 2004 and have grown since then with global presence, and now we have operations in New York, China, India, Southeast Asia, and East Africa. And what we do is we support clean energy entrepreneurs through different support programs, funds, and networks so that these entrepreneurs can drive innovation and build equity in the global clean energy economy. And what we wanted to have is a 100% clean energy economy for the 100% of the population in the shortest time possible. So our activity for today is entitled Youth and Energy Voices from the Future of the Tech Energy Sector. And we will showcase the different organizations in the country that, like us, promotes and advocates for renewable energy literacy and just transition to clean energy by heavily involving the youth in the movement. No? So this event, we aim to encourage innovators, community builders, startups, and members of the tech and innovation ecosystem to understand the opportunities in the energy sector and inspire collaboration really across the energy and startup communities. So for today, we have three organizations with us today who are all active in their own initiatives and communities. So without further ado, I'll be introducing our first speaker. And our first speaker is Franz Nicole Salomon, or commonly known as Nick, the founder of Ingeniero.org. So it is an online community that aims to empower Filipino engineers and promote technological innovation. So Nick, he will be sharing about their community and how are they helping our future engineers also, and what is the role of Ingeniero.org in promoting energy innovation and entrepreneurship among its members. Nick?
Hello, good afternoon po sa mga students, sa mga tech enthusiasts, entrepreneurs, sa startup founders, sa mga investors and organizations that joined Philippine Startup Week 2021. Magandang hapon po. I am Engineer Nick Salomon. I am a co-founder at Ingeniero.org and Terra Solar Engineering. And I'll be talking today about Ingeniero.org, empowering engineers and promoting sustainable energy. Okay, so basically, I'll be discussing about what we do in Ingeniero.org. I'll give you an overview about our community and about our role in promoting sustainable energy here in the Philippines. Okay. So first, I would like to start the whys. Okay. So why we started Ingeniero.org? Bakit ba namin ginawa si Ingeniero.org? Okay. So these are the problems that we identified and observed. Okay. So first, we learned that yung retention rates in engineering schools here in the Philippines are very low. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng retention rates? Okay. So ito uh, yung mga nare-retain in engineering school and yung graduation rate in engineering schools very low lang. Okay. And it's either nagda-drop out or nag-shift into other courses yung mga engineering students. And kakaunti lang yung mag-graduate on time. So ito yung unang problem na na-identify namin. Pangalawa is yung lack of business skills and entrepreneurial mindset of engineers in the Philippines. Okay, so hindi naman lahat, pero most of the engineers and engineering students does lack business skills and entrepreneurial mindset. And number three, na na-identify namin problem is yung lack of technological innovation in the Philippines. Okay, so we in the Philippines kasi, we are technology laggards. It means na late adapters tayo sa technology. Most of the technology or innovations ay nai-introduce in other countries, and here in the Philippines, ina-adapt or pinag-aaralan lang natin yung mga technology na nagsisimula sa ibang bansa. Okay. So ito yung mga problems na na-identify namin. That's why we started Ingeniero.org. Okay. So si Ingeniero.org, doon nakita naming solusyon sa mga problema na to. Okay. So hindi naman, we believe na Ingeniero.org can help even a small part in solving these problems. Okay. So basically, Ingeniero.org is an online platform that provides educational content, tools, guides, reviewers, video tutorials, and webinars for engineering students and engineers. And also, we provide news about latest technological innovations. Okay. So yun. So mainly, nagki-create kami ng educational content for engineering students and engineers, and nag-produce kami ng mga news about latest technological innovations. So mainly our mission is to empower engineers and also to promote innovation. So we have different social media platforms that we're using, but our main platform that we're using is Facebook. Okay, so ito yung Facebook page namin. And currently, ang Facebook page namin, meron na siyang 412,000 total likes and meron na siyang 433,000 total follows. And then just recently, we created a Facebook group. Okay, so mag-iilang months pa lang din siya. And currently, our Facebook group has 25,600,000 members. Okay, so in this Facebook group, nakakapag-connect and collaborate yung mga engineering student and engineers. Nakakapag-share sila ng ideas about current technological innovations, and nagkakaroon din ng mga Q&A discussions. And also, nagkakaroon din ng sharing like mga job opportunities and business opportunities on our community. So, yun. So, just to give you an overview about our community. Okay, so more than half or 55% ng community namin are under 18 to 24 years old. And then 33% of our community is 25 to 34 years old. And then 8% is 35 to 44 years old. And then only 4% yung more than 44 years old, 44 years old. So makikita nyo dito, majority talaga okay nung community namin ay kabataan. And then most of I think more than at least around mga 80% ng community namin din ay engineering engineering students or engineers talaga. And then the other 20% are tech enthusiasts or or related sa STEM yung kanilang mga background. Okay. Then ito naman yung mga current namin na numbers sa social media platforms namin. So again, Facebook page namin is 434,000 followers. Facebook group is 25 plus thousand members. And then our YouTube, currently, recently created lang siya. Meron na siyang 2,000 plus subscribers. Okay. So I would also like to share our flagship event. It is called Re-Engineer 2021 or Re-Engineer. Okay. So yung Re-Engineer, yung event namin noong April 6, its theme is upgrading Filipino engineers of the future. Okay, so this event is actually in partnership with Experto. Experto is an online platform for events, webinars, and trainings. Okay, so it is in partnership with Experto, and our community partners that time are Philippine Technological Council, FU Tech Innovation, Philippine Society for Talent Development, and MBGN Consulting. Okay, so in this event, we've discussed topics such as career development, lifelong learning, and skills of the future. So ito naman, since nagka-gain kami ng magandang feedback during our re-engineer event, sabi kasi nung mga naka-attend, parang we need more events like this. Kasi yung event namin are specifically for engineering students and engineers, pero hindi siya ganun ka-technical. Which is sabi nila, bibihira daw yung ganung event. So dahil sa magandang feedback, nag-organize ulit kami recently ng re-engineer event. So we organized this event, ano naman siya, it's called Re-Engineer Plus 2021, and the theme naman is Empowering Engineer Leaders of Tomorrow. Okay. So this event is again in partnership with Experto, and our community partners are Engineers Without Borders Philippines, Rotary District 3800, Business Network International Alpha, and the topics that we've discussed are communication, leadership, and social impact. Okay. So these are the skills that we believe are not normally taught in schools or in college, but are very important skills in working or in building your own business. So aside from organizing our own event, we've also helped to promote a lot of events na related in engineering, technology, and personal development. Okay, so we mostly advertise them for free, okay, as part of our advocacy. So this event, Inventors and Investors Tech Fair. This is this is actually an event organized under Philippine Startup Week nung 2019. Okay, so we are invited as one of the media partners, and this event is organized by Master of Technology Management students in UP Diliman. Okay. Then we've also collaborated with Philippine Society for Quality Inc. with their event, the 32nd National Quality Forum. Okay. And then we've also helped to promote, and we are also one of the media partners of TEDx Dasmariñas. And we've also supported a lot of university organizations or student organizations, specifically engineering students organizations. Like this one, IECON 2021 and also Ergoneering 2021. Okay. And then we've also promoted yung events ni Engineers Without Borders Philippines. Like yung webinar nila about human-centered design and engineering, and yung event nila about sustainable project practices. And we've also been uh, partnered with private organizations like Aslex PH Academy. We've supported their online courses. Okay, this is a free online course in which we help them to reach more engineering students uh, to to use their platform and their trainings, like topics related to lean product development, quality management system, data science, and good manufacturing practices. So this just recently, we've also been involved as a media partner with Ready Spark Charge 2020. Okay, so this is an event organized by New Energy Nexus. And Ready Spark Charge is an inter-technology business incubator clean energy competition. So it is a pitch competition or competition that specifically the startups are connected or solves problem that are related to biogas, energy efficiency, distributed solar PV systems, electric vehicle, and energy access. So actually, I'm invited, aside from being a media partner, I was invited as one of the mentors, and I mentored this startup called Harness. So Harness is an artificial intelligence platform that aims to solve yung energy access problem. Okay. Then recently, nagkaroon uli sila ng event, si Ready Spark Charge, and still ongoing pa rin yung event. Okay. So the team naman for this year is hacking the future of energy, and the problems that are there are they are encouraging to solve are climate resilience, energy access, circular economy, clean transport, and energy efficiency. And again, Ingeniero.org is one of the media partners, and we help them to reach more engineering students and engineers, and to encourage them to join this platform and also to develop their ideas that are related in sustainable energy. And I was also invited in this event as one of the learning session speakers. The next, aside from promoting these events, this kind of events, we've also mainly what we do is we created contents, okay, about innovation and about the tools that can help engineering students. And a big part of the content that we are posting or creating are related to sustainable energy innovation. It is one of our advocacies in Ingeniero.org. Okay, so these are just examples of the content that we are posting about sustainable energy. So this is about hydropower. So this content is about the fundamentals of hydropower. Excuse me. So in this content, we just gave our community an overview about the basics and physics of hydropower. So this content actually it gained 113 engagements, and then this one is a content about the types of hydro turbines, and this content reach out 77,000 people, and it has an engagement of 2,800. And we've also posted content about wind energy. So this is an article about the world's most offshore wind turbine. Uh, it's called Haliade X, and it reached a total of 55,713 people and an engagement of 2,769. Then this is an example naman of an infographic or showing the components of the inside of a wind turbine. And we've also created content about solar. So this is an article about the world's largest solar powered mall, which is the Solar Car Park in Mall of Asia. So this content reached out to 43 more than 43,000 people, and it has an engagement of 3,249. Then this is a content naman about the one of the world's largest solar hydro hybrid project in Thailand, and it gained more than 1,000 likes and more than 200 shares. So we've also shared and posted about the projects of students about energy innovation. Okay, so these are the example of the content about energy innovation. So this is one of the article that goes viral. So this is actually the invention of a student from Mapua. Uh, his inventions his invention is it absorbs and converts ultraviolet light into clean renewable energy, and it was recognized by James Dyson. I'm sorry. The project was recognized by James Dyson, and this post it reached out to more than 700,000 people, and it has an engagements of 76 more than 76,000. And then this project naman is this is a project of DLSUD or De La Salle Das Marinas senior high students, on which they develop a pedestrian crossing that can generate electricity. And then this article naman is about a project of a DLSU engineering student that invents ERDI's cooling technologies and wins James Dyson Award also in 2019. So this article it reached more than 116,000 people, and it has engagements of 27,970. So aside from this art news, we've also posted Solar 101 articles on which we aim to help to educate the engineering students and engineers about solar, the basics of solar. Okay. So this is an example of article about the 7 benefits of solar, and then this article is about how the solar work. Then this article is about how long do solar panels last, and then this one is about do I have to go off the grid when I switch to solar. So these articles are actually in collaboration with my other startup, Terra Solar Engineering. So we've also posted about nuclear. So this article is about nuclear power, history, operation, economic benefits, and risks. And this one is a news about a 13-year-old student achieved nuclear fission in his playroom. Right? So with these articles and content, we believe that we help to increase awareness about sustainable energy. Okay? So about its operation, its benefits, and we are trying to inspire the next generation to be somehow be involved. Okay? So first, be knowledgeable and somehow be involved in this sustainable energy innovation movement. So, lastly, I would like to also share about my speaking engagement as a representative of Ingenieros.org and Terra Solar Engineering. So, these are just the examples of my speaking engagement. So, on this poster, I've talked about sustainable energy innovation with FEU Tech. Okay? And then also, again, I was invited as a learning session speaker about energy access with New Energy Nexus, and also a mentor with one of their competitions. And then I've also invited as a mentor in a design thinking summit, specifically about affordable and clean energy. So that's all. Thank you very much for listening about inhiniero.org. And moving forward, we still want to continue and passionately continue in promoting sustainable energy in the Philippines and to empower engineering students and engineers here in the Philippines. So if you want to collaborate with us in our organization, feel free to contact me with my Facebook, fb.com/engineer.salomon or through my email, engineer.nicksalomon@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you. That's all.
All right, so thank you for that, friends. And moving on to our second speaker, who will be Cesar Jan Estrada. So Cesar is a co-founder of Energy Literacy PH. It is an organization who advocates for energy literacy for every Filipino, and he will share about the reason of establishing the organization and what are its goals, and why he think it is very important for everyone to be energy literate, especially our youth, and of course what is their role in the just transition. So to give us more about energy literacy PH, I will have Cesar. Cesar.
Hello everyone, I'm Cesar from Energy Literacy PH or ELP. So today we will discuss Philippine energy literacy. So ELP is an independent digital initiative created primarily to advocate energy literacy for every Filipino. So our team is composed of young professionals all working or have a passion for the improvement of the energy industry. So among our team members, we have representatives coming from the government, representatives from energy stakeholders, and an independent representative. Our team started this initiative because as professionals who've all worked before for the government, we saw that there are still a lot of improvements to be made. And we believe that the people should have a voice towards achieving our goals for energy transition. Allow me to read through this ELP's vision. So the team envisions an empowered citizenry that is cognizant of the dynamics of the energy sector, how it impacts their daily lives, and what actions they can do for its further improvement. Towards this vision, we are aiming to provide an accessible and interactive platform where ordinary citizens can gain the knowledge and other value-adding information about the energy sector and its developments. In order to bring us closer to that vision, we create bite-sized infographics, AVPs, statistics, and even policy analysis and recommendations about the energy sector. In this slide, we present to you some of the outputs or channels we've already created in order to help every Filipino. We've created various explainer videos related to energy, such as the renewable energy industry of the Philippines, the Philippine power industry, consumer supply options, explainer of electricity bills, energy efficiency, the IPERA law, the Green Energy Option Program, among others. So we have also created a significant number already of infographics, such as tips on energy conservation, rights of the people, electricity rates, power interruptions, energy sources, carbon emissions, and many more. We have also launched our website wherein we provide a structured approach on how an individual can learn about energy and at his own time and pace. Through that website, we have also published tools relating to energy and opinions and insights coming from individual contributors. Everyone can expect our group to continue improving our services for the Filipino, one that is free and relevant to everyone's daily lives. Now, to give you a brief overview of the status of the Philippine energy literacy, allow me to go through an introduction of what energy literacy is and why it is important to everyone, especially the youth. Okay? So what is energy literacy? Allow me to read through this formal definition of energy literacy. So it is an understanding of the nature and role of energy in the universe and in our daily lives, accompanied by the ability to apply this understanding to answer questions and solve problems. In short, It is the understanding of energy and to use that understanding to answer questions and solve problems. In order to understand energy, you must be aware that we cannot fully understand and solve problems related to energy by only using scientific or engineering approaches. We must understand that it requires a comprehensive understanding of the different factors and variables such as civics, economics, and politics, among others. Just as both social and natural sciences is a part of energy literacy is an essential part of being energy literate or being literate also in social and natural sciences. Okay, now, how do we determine if a person is energy literate? Does answering some or all of these questions make a person energy literate? So based on various literatures, energy literacy can be divided into three domains: knowledge, attitude, and behavior. Knowledge focuses on basic scientific and energy facts a person knows. One should be able to trace energy flows, think of it in terms of energy systems. One should be able to be aware of how much energy he or she uses, for what, and where that energy comes from. And finally, one should be able to understand the environmental and societal impacts of his or her actions. Some examples of determining knowledge are questions such as what is the definition of energy, or what energy conservation or conversion happens in a light bulb, or what sources are the most dominant in the Philippines. Attitude represents a person's sensitivity or awareness of the complexity and the urgency of the global energy situation in the impact of personal energy related decisions and actions on the global community. If a person asks what is the urgency of addressing climate change, those are some of the questions where we use to determine attitude. By having the right attitude towards energy, one should be able or be capable of assessing the credibility of information about energy. And lastly, behavior. A person should be able to make informed decisions on energy and energy use based on the understanding of the impacts and consequences. A person should be able to communicate about energy and energy use in meaningful ways and continues to learn about energy throughout his or her life. Some of the questions that we can use in determining behavior is: do you unplug devices when not in use? Do you turn off the lights when you leave the room? Those are just some examples of questions. But in summary, the combination of these three domains makes a person energy literate. A person cannot be energy literate by just excelling at one domain. Nonetheless, one should not worry if he or she does not know about the details of the energy sector. Your energy literacy is also dependent on the purpose. When a person is let's say a family man or a family woman, a family should know the basics of energy. What is electricity bills? What are the factors affecting conservation and efficiency of energy? And what are its impacts on climate change? But when a person is let's say, a politician or a head of the government leading energy sector, he or she should exhibit a much more higher level of energy literacy. He must be more aware of the different information. He must be more sensitive and must account for all of those in making better decisions for the sector. Now, let's go to the importance of energy literacy, especially to the youth. Through energy literacy, each and every one of these benefits are what we can gain. So to make better informed decisions, that is what energy literacy is. By knowing the facts and being sensitive to every energy issue and situation, it will lead to better decisions moving forward. With better decisions, it will branch out to multiple benefits. First, it will lead to sustainable energy use. Once the people, especially the youth, understand and be sensitive to the different energy issues such as climate change and the variabilities brought by non-sustainable energy and non-sustainable behavior, it can and it will lead to people conserving more, using energy more efficiently, and looking for alternatives, resulting now in a more sustainable future for the Philippines. Second, by our contribution to either the reduction in demand through energy efficiency or conservation and the use of a cleaner energy source, we hope it is not yet too late to reduce the environmental impacts of our energy behaviors. And of course, to be able to contribute in combating climate change. As a result also of better behavior, it will eventually lead to savings. It is proven that energy conservation and efficiency do lead to monetary benefits. You may not receive any money, physical money from it, but it will definitely avoid or reduce your expenses. The next benefit is actually a result of the combination of the different benefits discussed. Totally understanding the Philippine energy industry is vulnerable to many different ways, we can plan ahead and prevent any further unreliability and insufficiency in energy, thereby leading to a more secure Philippines. And lastly, while we are while those are all happening, there will definitely be an impact to the economy. As we develop the energy sector, as a result of all of these benefits, we shall see how energy can further drive the economy. Now that we have an overview of energy literacy, I will now show you a quick and initial result of our assessment of the Philippine energy literacy. Again, this is an initial and preliminary data, and you can expect the final study and results later on by late December or early January 2022. Based on initial data, we were able to determine numerical equivalents of the three domains of energy literacy. Filipinos' knowledge ranges between 45 to 55% only, while attitude and behavior are on the high at about 75 to 80, or for behavior, it is at 70 to 80%. As discussed earlier, those three domains should be represented so that one can be energy literate. In our study, respondents are still lacking in terms of knowledge, but they have a good attitude towards behavior and behavior towards energy. In terms of knowledge, participants exhibited a low understanding of energy when presented scientifically. They exhibited a moderate understanding of energy when presented in relation to its practical uses. And in terms of sustainability and conservation questions, participants exhibited a moderate understanding also. Overall, participants have a low understanding of the energy situation of the Philippines. In terms of attitude, participants reported a higher positive attitude in relation to energy conservation, efficiency, and cleaner energy. Most see, about 91% or 90% of the respondents, that climate change is a vital issue that must be addressed. However, while they see climate change as an issue, most participants still value the affordability of energy as compared to clean energy. A majority of respondents also believe that they have a voice in helping to impact energy policies. In terms of behavior, participants reported a high positive behavior towards energy conservation and efficiency. They always seek to learn more about energy and its impact to their daily lives. The majority utilizes search engines when they have questions about energy, although most still trust information coming from energy companies and the government. They are interested in topics such as energy efficiency, trends, sources, safety, and environmental impacts. In summary, based on initial and preliminary results, we would give the Philippines an average grade in terms of energy literacy. Okay, everyone, this is my last message to you. Please continue learning. One way to help improve the energy industry is by having an energy literate and empowered citizenry, one that is cognizant of the dynamics of the energy sector, how it impacts their daily lives, and what actions they can do for its further improvement. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
Thank you so much for that, Cesar. And it's very surprising to see that the average learnings ng Pinoy about climate change or renewable energy is average lang, no? But I think that is not something that we should be sad about, because we know of a lot of organizations really developing courses that are as friendly as for high school students, so that they can really, as early as that age, they will understand the impact and the cause of climate change. And I'm sure if the audience would follow your Facebook page, and they would still also be informed what can they do as individuals now to also combat climate change in their own little ways. But yes, thank you so much for that, Cesar. And for now, I'll be introducing our third and last speaker for today's activity. And our third speaker is Joshua Miguel Lopez. Si Joshua is the founder of Reboot Philippines, and it is a youth-led organization that advocates for the Philippines' just transition towards renewables. So they engage with people from different walks of life towards our shared aspiration, which is really to have a society, that is powered by clean, secure, and accessible electricity. And also, Joshua will be talking about Reboot Philippines and also their programs for the youth and other stakeholders, and what are the other activities that can also help us increase our knowledge level from average to ano bang next ng average, maybe expert in the field of climate change. And Joshua will also be talking about the importance really of involving the youth in the just transition. So Joshua.
So I'm Joshua Miguel Lopez. I'm currently the chairperson of Reboot Philippines, and I will be discussing our perspective on youth in the just energy transition. So, since this event is for the Philippine Startup Week, we wanted to start this conversation by situating ourselves through the concept of innovations ecosystems. So, just quick definitions, no? So for innovation ecosystems, there are different perspectives. So for say Nambisan and Baron 2013, it's a loosely interconnected network of companies and other entities that co-evolve capabilities around a shared set of technologies, knowledge, or skills, and work cooperatively to develop new products and services. Another definition for innovation ecosystems is that actors operate cooperatively and competitively to create value. That is, they develop and deliver new products, and to capture value. That is, they satisfy customer needs. Another definition is dynamic, purposive communities with complex, interlocking relationships built on collaboration, trust, and co creation of value, and specializing in exploitation of a shared set of complementary technologies or competencies. So, well, to simplify everything, no, because there were a lot of definitions that I showed earlier, the basic characteristics of an ecosystem is that it is composed of different actors that interact with each other and produce shared outcomes that will not have emerged without their interaction. And for the energy sector, there are a lot of actors that we have to consider in the energy sector. Just in itself, no, we have institutions that work in the generation part. We have other institutions working in transmission, others in distribution, others in consumption. But we're also considering that the energy sector is situated in a broader society, in a broader system where businesses, financial institutions, consumers, and workers also have a great effect on how the energy system operates. And also, we consider that there are other institutions such as research institutions, national government, NGOs and think tanks, and local governments that are also part of the ecosystem. And all of these actors know they interact with each other. And as a result of those interactions, we can expect certain outcomes. The effectiveness of each part within this innovation ecosystem is influenced by other parts of the ecosystem. So we have to understand that not only in the energy sector but in any sector, no, what happens in, say, in the generation sector affects workers, or whatever decisions businesses have in businesses that not sell energy but consume energy could also have impacts on, say, distribution or consumption. So these different actors and the decisions within those institutions, those sectors really have an effect on how the general energy ecosystem operates. So changes to one part of the ecosystem leads to changes in other parts of the ecosystem. So I wanted to start with innovation as an emergent process. So innovation emerges as resolutions, no, to issues or gaps emerging along the interfaces of these parts. So innovation happens as like a natural thing that you do when you face a problem. Say, if you're a government employee or someone who's making policies, and you see certain issues in how businesses operate, or how consumers get to experience the benefits of energy, for example. And the kinds of innovations are very different. We're very familiar, with technology innovations, like the exciting, the tech stuff. But technology is not only the sector where innovation happens. No. So going back to what I said earlier, that innovation ecosystems are composed of actors, interactions, and shared outcomes. We can expect that innovations can happen in any of those three areas. So in shared outcomes, we have technology innovations, we have product innovations. In interactions, we have process innovations, we have policy innovations, and in actors, we have institutional innovations. Like maybe the innovation ecosystem in itself has certain institutional gaps. Like maybe certain groups should form, or maybe certain institutions should form, certain organizations should form. So that in itself is an innovation, and also business models, since probably business models before might not be working in the new context. So there are a lot of other innovations now, but these are just a few of the forms of innovation that can happen in an innovation ecosystem. And learning what kind of innovations should happen in a particular space, um, it will come as a result of agile and iterative interaction among these groups, maybe a cross pollination of ideas from people, say, in business and the government, from NGOs to the academe, from people in transmission, collaborating with consumers. I don't know, but the cross pollination of ideas across these different actors and these different groups actually serves to stimulate innovation. And then, of course, another aspect of learning what kind of gaps should be filled with innovations is feeling forward. So it's a matter of trying new things, and then maybe feeling at them, and maybe revising as needed until such time that you're able to create new resolutions to the issues that you're facing. So why am I talking about this now as someone who's representing Reboot? Because, well, Reboot, we intended to create a network that will be facilitating these cross pollination of ideas, interactions, and collaborations, no, and trying new things, maybe failing forward even, so that we can push for a just energy transition towards renewable energy. Because we believe that in engaging people from different walks of life to work towards our shared aspiration, a just society powered by clean, secure, and accessible energy. So quite a bit aspirational, maybe crazy even, but it's part of going towards innovation, part of going towards a just society that we wanted. So this is a bit wordy, but I hope this gives you a glimpse of what we want as an institution. So we envision a just and democratic transition to 100% renewable energy in the Philippines. So we envision a country heading towards the just and democratic energy transition where youth are empowered to play an active role in its fruition. We envision an established, dynamic, and multi-sectoral community. Again, the community of innovation ecosystem actors that drive nationwide progress in energy access, security, and sustainability. And we also envision a Filipino citizenry that firmly understands the urgency of climate change, demands the acceleration of the energy transition, and is empowered to implement agency over its energy systems. And we do that through energy leadership, through transdisciplinary approaches. So we engage young people like me, like us here, through active involvement in political, economic, social, technological, and environmental spheres. We also encourage the creation of knowledge and not just like borrowing energy knowledge from other countries or from other fields, but to actually create new knowledge basing on how the innovation ecosystem in the Philippines behaves. No, and also create models. Well, we collectively build models so that we can understand how the energy transition in the Philippines happens. Third is to empower Filipinos by enabling channels for the public understanding of climate, energy, and development issues. So like how Greta Thunberg always describes it, we still have to develop new political systems. We still have to develop new technological systems. We have to develop new ways of thinking, new mindsets for us to be able to actually decarbonize our society. And to do that, we have to ensure that everyone is kept abreast of all the knowledge changes that happen as we go towards 100% renewable energy. And fourth and lastly, we wanted to ensure safe and open spaces for youth leadership and participation in the Philippines' journey towards the transition to full renewable energy. So it's not only an issue in the energy sector, but I think people in tech also resonate with this. That well, traditionally, no, in the Philippines, um, there are not a lot of spaces for youth engagement, for people who want to enter into business, for example, or people who want to be um, young candidates in political positions, and that affects the kind of decisions that get made and the kind of well, innovations that actually get implemented and get out of the drawing board. So we wanted to promote and maybe expedite innovation by putting young people into power, putting young people in positions where they actually get to implement their businesses or business ideas through these safe and open spaces. So how do we do that? We have four current programs. So actually, even though we started last year at the start of the pandemic, we've just formally been registered in SEC this year. So this we're also innovating as we speak, and currently we have four current programs. We are working on membership and leadership development. We also work on climate and energy literacy. We also work on policy advocacy and research, and we also work on regional hub development. So let me just go through our current programs. So, for membership and leadership development, we are engaging young climate and energy leaders from different sectors and professions and provide a space for their experiential learning on issues surrounding the energy transition. So, currently, we have like two ways to become a member of Reboot. So, first is the Renewable Energy Bootcamp, well, where all of this are actually started, no? And we just finished last um, October 24 with our third batch. And then we also have the ambassador apprenticeship program where people who might not have the time for reboot, since it's a long program, no, they can also get to participate in the movement, no. So there we have two of those spaces, and their members actually come from industry, come from NGOs, international organizations, from the academe, from the labor sector, and from government. So we actually have a member who's working in the National Innovation Council. We have a member who's working in wind development in Bicol. We have a member who's from the who's a teacher in Naga, and he's actually implementing one of our programs with the teachers. We also have members who's currently busy now because they're organizing the Philippine representation for COP26. So we have a lot of members working in different areas, trying to cross pollinate ideas from each of the sectors and then work together towards like consolidating the climate and energy innovation ecosystem and to actually make solutions instead of just talking about them. For the second program, we have climate and energy literacy. And what we do here is to promote the public understanding of climate energy development issues in formal, informal, and non formal learning channels. So for current collaborations, as I said earlier, we have a present project. It's an ongoing project with the Department of Education in Naga, where we are mainstreaming climate and energy education in. Focusing now on the high school level. So we're teaching teachers, we're collaboratively working on instructional manuals with the vision that this will be a pilot program to be implemented first in Bicol, and if it works in Bicol, to be implemented nationally. We also have a project now with Student Energy. It's an international organization based in Canada. And what we are co designing with them is a climate and energy learning kit. So now that, for example, in this pandemic, a lot of people experience problems with education because we're used to them going to school and then being taught by the teachers, but now that everything is already modularized, no, the students find it harder to learn, and more so in learning new concepts in climate and energy. So we created here in our collaboration with Student Energy kits, like experiential learning kits, where they can well, tactile in a tactile way, they can learn more about the current issues and maybe get some concepts on how energy transitions can be made. We also have current collaborations with NGOs and industry thought leaders. So we have a monthly webinar series where we discuss certain topics, like focus on certain topics on climate and energy. Like for example, we focused on what I think the biggest that we had was focusing on RE education. This was last year, and we had like 700 participants from mostly from educators. And we also focus on other topics depending on what's relevant for each month. And then we also have collaborations with professors and community educators. So we are currently incubating our renewable energy advocacy learning program, or the REAL program, where they get to understand not only the technical aspects of energy, but also the political, economic, social, and legal and environmental aspects of it. For the third program, we have policy advocacy and research. So this was actually just formed like 2 months before, 3 months before. So it's still in the works. But the purpose of this is to consolidate the perspectives of young people into a youth climate and energy agenda. So we know that in particularly in the energy sector, most of the decisions are being made by people who are, let's say, experienced, no, or people who have been who've spent years in the sector. But we also have to recognize that when we talk about the climate issue, the main stakeholders, or the people who would really experience the brunt of climate change, are the young people. So it's important that young people should already be heard at even at this early stage. So we are consolidating that through a youth climate and energy agenda, and hopefully, as we um, are listening to our constituents right now, we would push for policy education reform. So our current activities actually is a youth climate and energy agenda building. So this is a survey that's already in the works. We also have a just transition youth camp. So it happened just 2 weeks ago. We consolidated people from the labor sector, for people who are in from different areas like Cebu, from Davao, we had someone from Sulu actually. So we consolidated everyone and listened to their stories, to their issues, so that we can draft policy recommendations from there. And then the current direction of our policies is actually the localization of energy policies, since in the energy sector, most of our policies are highly centralized. It's mostly happening at the national level. But the fact of the matter is, especially now that we are transitioning to a decentralized form of energy through renewable energy, it's important that um, the local ecosystems and local government, as the facilitator of that ecosystem, are empowered to actually govern energy at their level. So we are focusing on that, since no one actually is focusing on that yet. And then lastly, in connection to that, is regional hub development. So what we do here is we broaden the representation of different sectors in the climate and energy movement. and we strengthen cross-sectoral collaboration through the establishment of regional hubs. So, um, well, when we talk about innovation ecosystem, it's really important to emphasize the dynamism and to build that dynamism. And similar to what we do in the tech sector now, where there are cities that are hubs for technological development. For energy, it's also the same. We have to localize as much as possible because ultimately innovation happens in simple ways, like people from different companies having coffee, talking about what they experience, and then developing new ideas from there. So the subsectors represented in this particular program are students. We also have teachers, as I mentioned. We're also working with young journalists and communicators. We're also This is about to start in November. We're working with young agriculturists, and then moving forward, we're planning to have programs on integrated planning. So working with young people, um, focusing on the built environment as well as other sectors, and we will build the portfolio of sectors as they emerge and as we learn more about the behavior of our ecosystem. So that ends my presentation, and I hope you learned more about our perspective on the just energy transition. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Joshua. And yes, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for today's activity. And we hope now that we can see you as new members of our community that advocates for the energy literacy and just transition. So if you want to know more about our organization and our featured partners, now feel free to reach out to us. You can send us an email. So our email is Philippines at newenergynexus.com, but also our Facebook page is below your screen. And if you want to access also or visit the Facebook pages of our partners for ingeniero.org, you just have to go to facebook.com/ingeniero.org. That is for our first speaker. For our second speaker for Energy Literacy PH, just go to fb.com/energy literacy ph. And lastly, for Reboot Philippines, you just have to go to fb.com/reboot Philippines. And really, we hope to see you in our next events and for us to have more advocates for the just transition. And also, to conclude our activity, we also want to hear your feedback about this activity. We have a 3-question feedback form, and the link is shown below your screen. And we really hope that we can get your feedback so we know how to further improve our activities. And also, if you want to get to know more about our organization and our partnered um, um, organizations as well for this activity. So, yes, once again, thank you everyone and stay safe.